What's up? I didn't think the timer. I feel like the timer was faster. Was the timer faster? No, I know it wasn't. Hello. Hi. Give me a second. I'm still getting ready. Hello, hello, hello. We'll go to this. I didn't even turn all my lights on. That's how weird of a day it's been. This isn't gonna work. Guys, I want to be right back. This is not. I tried something. I don't like it. I'll be right back. Okay. Now I feel better. Hello. Hi, hi, hi. Gosh, I didn't do anything. Okay. Hey, Jeremiah. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Linda. Hey, Mr. Wallace. Hey, Rachel. Happy Friday. How's everybody doing? Whew. Okay. So, obviously, things still kind of suck in the world, but I had a really good interview yesterday. Obviously, there are still things. Obviously, there are still issues. There are still things that I worry about, but it was a really good interview, and I came away feeling a lot better. Just about, I don't know, life. I don't know. Can you guys hear me? Is this thing on? Hey, what's up, Stu? You did make it to pre-show. Okay, good. I'm not used to people only coming on and saying hi and then nobody talking. That is not usually how this pre-show goes. Good morning, meme. So happy Friday, everybody. Probably making breakfast. Yeah, I don't know. It's unusual. This is not, every once in a while, the morning will start off differently in the sense of it just doesn't go the way it normally does. And it's just a little weird. It's not bad. It's not bad. Just weird. When you've been doing kind of the same thing for what, 4 years now? No, I got rid of that sucker. I didn't like the look. Didn't like the look. Now I'm comfy. That's right. That's right. Yeah, meme. I talked about it a little bit yesterday. I have never seen in this country, a group of people kiss the ass of anybody in the way his own administration is kissing his ass. So you've got the dumbass FIFA prize. You've got this other prize that the Republican Party gave him. They're putting his signature on money. What? Like, what? They're putting his signature on our money. Isn't he? Yep. I think he's getting a coin too. Yep. Yes, I did see Iran's video. Yep. Which money? Like our dollar bills. Dollar bills, y'all. All new dollar, all new paper currency that gets printed from, I don't know, whatever point is going to have his signature on it as well. And Garpu, that is normally the case. Normally you have to have passed to be on a coin or a stamp. But I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, let's be fair. I never walk around with cash anyways, so I won't really notice, if I'm being honest. You'll probably get a lot of people that'll walk into the bank and be like, can I trade these ones with Trump's signature for bills that don't have his signature on it? That's probably what I'll do. Nope. No, he does not. Unfortunately. And yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of what goes on when it comes to what goes on and not on money is just kind of precedent. It's not law. Oh yeah. I have cash just as a safety net kind of a thing for some things that may come up every once in a while where you need it. But I never use it. Good morning, Angel. No, they don't. They're sucking up to him because they know it works. You got to understand, these people are playing Trump. They know that they can get money, power, authority by sucking up to this man and sticking that nose way down where the sun don't shine. What's up, AJ? Hey, AK. Akicha? I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know how to say your username. Akicha? Is that it? I'm really bad with names. I'm tired. Had a sick babe last night. Oh, I'm sorry. Akicha. Perfect. Yeah, I got it. I'll either get a tip or a condescending tone with a come to Jesus pamphlet. He's destroying every historic aspect of our White House. Also true. Good morning, Kat. How are you? But yeah, I had a really good interview yesterday with someone who's running for Senate in the state of Montana. And as amazing as the interview was, I think the thing that was most amazing for me was our conversation after. All of them, Linda. All of them. Crew in the Kennedy Center. Yeah. We're gonna be, it's gonna be a wild decade at least. What about the bills? They are putting Trump's signature on all newly printed bills. Spread far and wide. Yep. This woman's pretty epic though. I must say. Former lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. Hunted down, spent most of her career hunting down terrorists and sex traffickers while in the Air Force. So she's pretty badass. Whose names are they kicking off, bills? As far as I know, they're just adding, not kicking off, but what do I know? I thought it was only the dollar bill. Maybe it was. I thought it was all of them. From all the big push to redact his name. That's actually really funny. That's actually really funny. You see videos of people, they're like, I'm redacting this dollar bill. That's really funny. Hey, Mr. Wallace. His signature on all instead of the Treasury Secretary. The wild world we live in. Wild world we live in. Good thing I don't carry cash. Wouldn't want my wallet to burn. It's true. Yeah. Hopefully they'll like go back to the other one the second we get him out of office, and they'll just say like, bring in those and we'll reprint and we'll give you new ones. Like they'll do a trade in or something. No, I understand. I just think it's, again, this is all stroking his ego, and that's the frustrating thing. Spread the word, redact. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I love it. I love it. So I'm thinking of changing my name on Twitch and going live on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok all at the same time. Do we get to hear my after conversation? No, unfortunately. Wouldn't want my wallet to start saying, I'm the best wallet. The best wallet. There's been no other wallet like this one. I would call him a child, but I know children with more emotional maturity. I mean, he is a child. He is just one of those children that have no emotional maturity. Unfortunately, there are those out there too. He is absolutely a child. So, I'm going to remind you guys now. Did you hear his long rabbit hole live discussion about the ink pen? No. Pens he gives away. No. Are they like the shoes that he's been giving people that don't fit? You're fortunate. I'm sure I'll hear about it somewhere. There's some waste, fraud, and abuse for you. Go to the Office Depot. Seriously. Oh, I knew I forgot something. I know they listen to his speeches because they're so incoherent. Yeah. Yep. I was talking to some people I know that were pretty upset when he said that um what was they talking? I don't even remember what they were talking about. He said so many ridiculous things. Never mind. According to the Treasury, it's just his signature. That's it. Yes, that is all it is. I just think it's ridiculous that they're doing it. Again, I've never seen such ego stroking. Linda! Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Won't be once I redact it. Hey, Maureen. Sounds like Iron Man's repulsor. Did they give him another cognitive test too or something? Probably. Probably. That is really going to be funny. This idea that there will be just bills that we will see probably for a long time that will just have this black redacted thing on it. That's hilarious. Heard about his $1,000 ink pens we pay for? That's weird. Yeah, it didn't say we went. It didn't say it on Discord. Interesting. Gotta love the internet. Kia, would you mind going? Yeah. Can you like do the share thing and post in the Discord that I'm live? I don't know why the thing hasn't done anything. Thank you. I appreciate you. That would make sense why nobody showed up. Not nobody, but why people that I'm used to seeing in the beginning didn't show up. Because it didn't alert people. At least not everybody. Hey Lori. Yeah, I hope No Kings is a huge success too. I've been hearing from different people about some pretty big numbers in some pretty rural areas around the country. Silver and gold that cost $1,000 each. So dumb. So dumb. Still debating. Thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah, I wish I could I wish I could go. Having one car definitely makes life very difficult to go do things. Good morning. Yeah. Yeah. How about Venezuela building a statue of him because he freed them? Is that real? Please, God, tell me that's not real. So I don't think the protest tomorrow changed the trajectory. No. No. Hey, Summer. I thought the call would never end. It's Friday. Work better not, yo. Oh, you're good, Jen. Good morning. Okay, so the U.S. Interior Secretary is the one who said this. Yeah, they're just technically there is no official thing happening. Thank God. Sounds like they're just brown nosing him again. What time, AJ? The problem is time. Most of the time, the ones here have been at a time when I'm busy like every Saturday. It's like the only time I get out of my house other than going on my walk. Good morning, Ambrosia. It's like noon to 3. Hmm. I might be able to do that. Where is First Ward Park? I don't even know where that is. What's new? Trump has delayed the deadline again for the third time. We were talking about the fact that they're putting his signature on our money. Supposedly, according to him, it's oil. Again, not sure I believe it. don't want to take my kiddos, but we have no babysitters, so one of us has to watch them, and I don't want to go alone, obviously. Yeah. No, I hear you. Oh man, that's like dead center uptown. Whew. That's about as dead center uptown as you can get. These are one of those days where I wished I lived in uptown because I'd just walk there. I'm basically as far from uptown as you can get where we live. Or almost as far from uptown as you can get. You'll be in Des Moines for the protest there tomorrow. Gonna be a big one. Heck yeah. The way he says it is so literally childish. I know I'm pointing out the obvious, but it's so insane. Yep. Yep. It boggles, straight up boggles the mind. I took the night off from adulting. I was basically a lump after dinner and played Animal Crossing till my eyes were tired. Heck yeah. I need to do stuff like that more often. I'm pretty much spending my days editing now. Cuz I've got like 60 interviews that I'm editing. In my daughter's area, there's around 5 different places to attend. She's in a basically Hispanic area in Florida. Oh, nice. That's awesome. My poor critters, my island was trash, but I started a tiki bar build, so you know, they can party. That's true. You're in Huntersville, but Charlotte is across the street. I'm southwest Charlotte. I'm in Steel Creek. I just started playing Expedition 33, but I'm not giving it enough time. Maybe today. Expedition 33 is fun. I played a little bit of it, not enough. I mean, yeah, Summer, every Tuesday night, I'm gaming on the gaming channel. Hey, Bobia. Hello. Well, and I'm at the bottom of I'm at the bottom corner of Steel Creek. So, I'm almost as far from Huntersville as you can get. But I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. I mean, I definitely would like to go if I can. And to coffee my way through taking my medicine too close together and it's not working. That's fair. Hey, Dan. Hey, Carla. Hey, Shelby. Hello, friends. Not sure if I'm going. It's always fine here, but going in a wheelchair is a bit scary if things get weird. That's true. Hey, Jelly. Hey, Purse. Hey, Jill. He is the Taco King, Eagle Eye. When I heard that he did that a third time, I really laughed. Like out loud laughed. Hey, Connie. What deadline? The deadline for Iran to agree to the United States peace plan. I'm not sure exactly what part, like what he's ended up looking for, but it was 48 hours and then it was 5 days and now it's 10 days. No, it's not 30 days. It's like 10 days now or something like that. Yes, Taco. Yep. Yes, the plan that was going to take all of the US troops out of yes. Yes, that plan. That amazing plan that he lied about. Hey, Shell. Hey, Ziggy. Appreciate you guys. Guys, if you're over here on TikTok, please and join the fan club, share the live, it helps. Why would we want to accept that? What do you mean why would we want to accept that? Who's we? Why would Iran accept that? They're not. I don't even think any of it's actually happening. The US? Why would we accept what? You mean Iran's demands? I'm not talking about Iran's demands. I'm talking about our demands. Iran's demands came out after the United States made their demands. Why would Iran accept the United States demands? Yes, Ambrosia. I think Trump is just lying. I don't think we would, Silver. I mean, I hear you. I just don't think we would. Hey, Carla. Hey, Verdant. You're assuming that they're talking. I don't believe they're talking at all. I've seen no indication that they're talking. According to Iran, they aren't talking to anybody. And it's a really sad world that I trust Iran more than I trust this administration. So they both, no, that's not talking. That's demands. That's demanding. That is not talking. Extending the deadline by its very nature probably is not corruption. Those are two separate statements. This is just the most corrupt. Well, yes, that's how negotiations work. No. Negotiations work when both agree to come to a table and they both give their demands. One just saying, you do this or I'm going to bomb your infrastructure, and the other saying, we're not talking, we're not negotiating. We're just going to give our demands back because it's just because. That's not actually negotiating. You don't negotiate via social media and mainstream media. And I'm lagging. I wish I were surprised. But again, if they're not talking to each other, they're not negotiating. Putting demands out into the ether is not negotiating. That's how every president sent out anything to the public over the news. It's not supposed to go to the public. Trump is putting these things out to the public because he's not talking to anybody. No, they're not talking. There is no talking going on. It's a bunch of bullshit artists from the biggest bullshit artist person on the planet. If by best you mean worst, then I agree with you. There has been no worse president or administration ever. As what he says on Twitter means they aren't talking. No. I don't think they're talking because they're not talking. Because the other part of the other country said, we are not talking to anybody. We're spending money we don't have on a war we don't want to accomplish nothing but make rich people richer. Yep. He's not doing anything to stop them. They weren't doing anything. I believe the country, I believe Iran more than I believe this administration. Yes. Yes, and that is sad. More corrupt than the Clintons. Clintons weren't, how were the Clintons corrupt? I'm a sad person? Okay. You believe the enemy? Traitor. Uh-huh. Okay. All right. You assume because he's our president that he is good? You think this is the best country in the world? Man, you're living on some whacked out planet. Then leave? Why would I leave? I live here. Why do you think the response of me thinking that my country can be better than it is to leave? Did you leave? I know you can't answer, but did you leave when Biden was in power? When Biden was the president? I'm surprised you went to Canada. You should leave. Canada would love to take you in. No, I'd rather make America better. I miss the days when our largest political issue in a day was a tan suit. Truth, Aaron. Truth. Lou, because they don't believe what they're saying. That's why. In the end, that's why. I totally agree, Steven. Totally agree. I don't bring up people I don't know, Mur. You're welcome to talk there. You've been respectful, so I will be more than willing to talk like this. But I don't bring up people I don't know. I'm just amazed that there are no qualifications to be president beside being a US citizen and age. It's true. It's true. Wild. Would I say that presidents that use slaves are more corrupt? No. Slavery is a morality question, not a corruption question. In the Philippines, they're walking to work. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how the United States handles the changes. I detest George W. from all the way back to when he was my governor, but damn, do I miss George W. I know, isn't that crazy? I think something you said got filtered, Mur. I bet working from home becomes popular again. Possible. Well, so 3 countries declined to vote for that, as well as the entire EU just didn't vote. So That's not just on us. I mean, I agree. It's kind of it's true. We are a very sick country. I just want to make sure we point out that it was vote for what? Uh the UN General Assembly voted on reparations, and the US, the I country, and Argentina voted against it, and the UK and all of the EU abstained from voting. They are, I agree. Uh AI rising. So military is the problem. I mean, most military just go where they're told. So no, I would not argue the military is the problem. Although we have more military than I think we need. We're definitely spending more on the military. I mean, they can go against orders if they consider the orders to be illegal, like against the Constitution or against the law. But there are very few people that are, hi Catherine, that are willing to do that. In the end, we shouldn't have voted against it. They can go against orders, but a lot won't, because there are still consequences until it's decided if they were illegal or not. Yep. Oh yeah, it makes absolute sense that they voted. Well, yes. The EU equivalently basically voted against it by not voting. But yes. And Argentina will do whatever their buddies in this administration do. Who would decide whether something was illegal or not? It would go through military court. I also need to find a way to get the Supreme Court in looking out for the entire country. But aren't they corrupt? The military justice? I haven't heard anything about the military justice system being corrupt, but I mean, everything in the everything has the capability of being corrupt. I'll be back. Gotta make some calls. Okay. You're going over the tube now? Okay, Lisa. The resolution emphasized the trafficking of enslaved Africans and racialized chattel enslavement of Africans as the gravest crime against humanity by reason of the definitive break in world history. Scale, duration, systematic nature, brutality, and enduring consequence that continue to structure the lives of all people through racialized regimes of labor, property, and capital. Clarence Thomas is a prime example of the corruption in America. Yep. What are you reading? There's a resolution in the UN having to do with slavery. Oh, yeah, I mean that doesn't surprise me that that's their argument. That was their argument, Aaron. That 100% tracks. So yeah, that was from the UN website. Thank you, Ambrosia. Not to change the subject, but I feel it's important to know. USDA just approved cultured meat grown in vats and is genetically modified and fake meat. Oh, fun. Good. Well, yeah, I mean, again, everyone that either voted against it or didn't vote, it's not surprising at all. It's not surprising at all. I was the subject of a UCMJ action at one point, so I have a little experience with it. Not fun being accused of something outrageous. Decided it was better to just leave than stay and have. I'm sorry, Stu. Hey, Alejandra. Community people can come up. Well, I mean, we also still have the prison system, which is just slavery 2.0. So Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I feel really anxious today. Like I woke up anxious. And Zeus woke me up almost a whole hour before my alarm and I couldn't go back to sleep.
Hmm.
Gosh.
Yes, Leon. It is still the war is still going. Of
It's funny how they try so hard. Morning, Ken. They keep trying to use every word but the W
course.
for it to try to justify stuff. It's amazing.
I wish I were amazed by it. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Be amazed by
Yeah,
anything
'cause
this administration does.
when I saw that thing, WREL dropped that thing talking about putting his signature on the fucking money for the first time in history. I mean, every single little thing from the changing the names of stuff, putting his names on buildings, tearing down things. I mean, it just screams teeny eeny short.
Yellow little polka dot something else.
Yes, all of the words. I forgot all the words.
Itsy bitsy teeny weeny.
Yeah, yellow polka dot bikini. That. All of that. All of that.
Doesn't matter. I mean, it does. It does because they're not just thinking about the legality of it. They're thinking about their supporters. You're right. In the grand scheme of things, when you're talking about the law, it doesn't matter because what they say words wise and what the law allows him to do, at least US law, as much as we hate it. He's unstoppable. Disagree. And he does care. You want to know why he does care? Because he's delayed doing what he said he's going to do 3 times. If he didn't care, we're trying to. The only way we can stop him is by putting people in office that will actually hold him, that will actually bring back checks and balances and hold him accountable. That's why I've interviewed over 100 people running for office.
I agree, and I think that's the biggest thing. I think it's kind of crazy. It's taken this long, but to have one person just show all of the weaknesses at one time, I think is pretty amazing, because it's either amazing or I think it's amazing and terrifying at the same time because you really truly understand um, how weak our system was and how it's as times have changed. It's just not. Uh,
Oh. And Jason, we are not past putting people in office. That is a short-sighted and ridiculous statement.
Americans can't even speak one language. What does that mean? What do you mean by that comment?
No, you are giving your opinion, Jason, and it's a wrong one. Aw, Shelly, you think you could be rude in my chat and stick around? Goodbye.
Somebody should have swallowed something other than coffee. Good morning, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
I think honestly, it's only helpful for countries to be. That's why it's like when people talk about how great we are, and I'm like, I remember one of the things that'll forever remain in my brain was this guy my mom was dating. He had went over to Somalia and he came back and he was talking about this little boy that knew 7 languages, and it's like, and we have quote unquote what the folks keep talking about how they want one language here, but the reading and comprehension is like that of children. So I just think it's really funny how they talk about English as the American language. It's the only language of of the United States, but then they can't really read or comprehend it or know how to use it properly.
Well, the fact is that Americans, people that are American citizens, speak lots of languages. Now, do all Americans speak a lot of languages? No. Do too many Americans only speak one language? Yes.
Yeah, I think for sure. I think it needs to be, they need to start a second language at least earlier. I didn't start taking a second language, so I think it was like the fourth or fifth grade. I think they should start that in the morning, and like as soon as they start going to school, whether it's daycare, Head Start, kindergarten, it can't do anything but be helpful.
Correct, James. We have no official language in this country.
Yeah, that's why I said they say. You can't see my air quotes. Sorry.
English is not the official language of the United States of America. The United States has no official language. What's taking so long? When things are bad, especially in the age of social media, where we get 24/7 news coverage, it makes everything that's going on slower. But the reality is, you don't move 300 million people fast.
Wait, are you talking? Hang on, Jason. Clarification here. Are you talking about you're waiting for the big, beautiful obituary? Is that what you're saying? What's taking so long? I just want to clarify what you're saying.
I mean, I assume he's still talking about how, um, I don't know, maybe some of his stuff got filtered, but we started talking about um, Trump and him not caring about the law and asking why we don't do something. You said it, not me. No, you just said it.
Oh, Jason, I'm asking you to clarify what you said there.
No, she asked you a clarifying question.
Is that what you're saying, Jason? Is that what you're talking about? What's taking so long? Yes? No? Maybe so?
I don't know why. Sure. I mean, what's taking so long? I don't know. You'll have to ask his body.
Oh, okay. I didn't get to hear when I came in on the middle of it, but somebody was playing. It was like it was him. You know who him is, was speaking, and he was maybe he was, I think it was T was playing like Lawrence's show, and they got him on a clip, or like he was talking about he just doesn't care, and I'm like, imagine being one of the soldiers' families that have already lost their family member, their child, their husband, their dad, or whoever in this, their mom in this shit that's going on right now already, and then to hear the freaking president of the United States just say, "I don't care."
Yeah. How
It's
does
really gross.
how does one get on the panel? Be here. Become part of the community in chat. Be involved in chat for more than a day. A lot of people come in and they want to join, and once I don't bring them up, the moment they follow me, they usually end up disappearing. What deadline is being extended? The deadline for Trump and our military to destroy infrastructure, energy infrastructure, if Iran doesn't give up. I'm sorry, this man has ruined so many lives. It's hard for me to care what happens. I'm not saying you should care what happens to him.
I haven't cared what happened to him ever, honestly.
Um, yeah, he is on the same level of caring when that event happens as I would care for a certain dictator back in the 1930s. In terms of caring, they're on the same level. The irony of a country who overturned Roe v. Wade going to quote unquote liberate women in another country is astoundingly disturbing. True. It's going to be like Mardi Gras. You know, here's the thing, and we've talked about this a little bit. I don't look forward to the person that would take his place in the event that that happens any more than I look forward to the person currently in power. So while I understand, and part of me would agree, it's one of those, you know, you win but you also still lose situations.
Nah, bro, you can't take that joy. Do you know how much joy though that's gonna bring to folks with all the harm and stuff? And I think not just here. I think it can be a truly, even though there will be shit that still has to come. I think that moment is going to bring a much needed a sense of relief, of a way of a call to action to even just go harder, because they're going to feel like folks are going to feel like the head of the snake is gone, like it'll be a stronger battle. Like I think that's going to be something. I think we're going to be the ones to turn on the TV or lives and see people out there in the street celebrating and all of that.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. No doubt. Harris would, and Harris is a million times better than either the current administration or Vance would be.
Why do you say that, Jennifer? I'm really curious.
How? Let's see. Harris has way more experience. Way more qualifications. And she's not a white dude. All of them. Right there. What does Executive Order 14224 mean, Dan? I mean, I have a feeling I know because I feel like I remember you making a statement before. But I want to say before you respond, executive orders aren't law. Executive orders aren't a law in any way, shape, or form. You've never been here before? Okay. So I don't know what EO14224 means then.
Ain't gonna be worth nothing. Oh my God. I just don't. I've never seen, but maybe because of the fact of the kind of stage and platform that he has, the amount of the narcissism just on shoe to play and all the other things.
So he can't declare English the official language because it's not a law. So English is not the official language. There is no official language. Thank you. You're trying to figure out what I'm even talking about. Talking about a lot of different things.
Ketchup, mustard. Did you see that text that I had sent to you and Scott last night, and then Scott's
Yes.
reply this morning?
Yep. Yeah. So here's the thing about the insolvency. We've been insolvent for a while. Obviously, it's worse now than it's ever been. But we have had more debt than we've had because basically insolvency means your cash compared to your debt, where you've got more debt than you've got money, whether it's through things or whatever, or cash. So we've been insolvent for a long time. That being said, it's really bad for a lot of different reasons right now. It's worse now. It's going to be harder to get out of, especially with this administration doing what it's doing. How can they not see? So here's the thing. The insolvency won't affect the ultra wealthy to the same extent that it will affect all the rest of us. And this is what happens when you put ultra wealthy people in charge of everything. They make decisions based on what will affect them. It's been bad, sure. I mean, being insolvent is bad no matter what. That being said, we have been insolvent for a while. There are certain things that allow us to be insolvent and not have it be as big of a deal. But it's gotten so bad that even those things don't matter in the way that they used to. Because they don't understand. That's exactly, I mean, how? If you've been taught to listen to the people that supposedly understand things and you don't understand it, and you haven't been taught to think critically or do your own research, it makes perfect sense why his base believes him. He did not save us during the pandemic. He made the pandemic about 100 times worse. He is the reason the pandemic hit us so hard. No, I'm not talking about the Democrat Party. Check the GDP. The GDP means diddly squat. You guys, when Biden was talking about the GDP, you guys still thought he was horrible when the GDP from Biden said that we were doing amazing if we were going by the GDP. too bad you can't win on your feelings. Not winning or losing on my feelings. Has nothing to do with my feelings.
Not to mention how far the dollar has fallen in its worth. Mm. But we're great. Make America great again. I think the other thing is too, though, is indoctrination is really real.
Sure.
And especially when you've grown up in a way that you've been indoctrinated, whether it's religious, I think that plays a lot to it. That's something like I'm, been going to church and stuff, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, I can understand how this could be, because like honestly, I don't understand the concept of growing up in a church, growing to church, the whole religion thing. That wasn't what we did in my house. My mom is an atheist. She doesn't believe in God and the Bible and all of that. Didn't go to church for that stuff. But if you to see, and if your whole life you keep believing that stuff, I can understand.
The president is not a chess master. The president doesn't even know what a chessboard looks like. The president wouldn't know good if it smacked him in the face. This president is the most incompetent, corrupt, and disgusting president to ever hold the position of president of the United States. No, he hasn't done anything that he said he would do.
When I
See,
win, I
stuff
will
like that,
immediately bring
not
prices
real.
down starting
See,
on day
there
one.
it says it all. Says it all in the name. They're not real.
He has
Bam. How about
he
that?
has literally done nothing. No, not my feelings. That's fact. Everything I've said, we have a lot of proof of that. He was corrupt before he became president. That's why I was amazed anyone believed him in the first place. Anyone that knew him knew he was a corrupt piece of crap.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Like for decades prior. This stuff isn't just circa 2015, 2016 and after. This shit has been going on since the 70s and 80s.
They are not in talks with Iran about opening the waterway. According to Iran. And I'm going to say again, this is a sad world we live in, where I'm believing Iran over this administration, but it's true. Over this administration? Absolutely. Over this administration? Absolutely. What purpose would Iran have to lie?
Same. And I think the thing is that it just makes me wonder, like, are people like this like in real life, or are they just like this on the internet? Because if your neighbor came over and keyed your car and you didn't have a camera and they said, well, I didn't do it, and you're like, okay, you get it fixed, then it happens again. I didn't see anything, I don't know what happened. Then you put a camera out there and you catch them, and that person still says, I don't know what happened, I didn't do anything. That's literally what's happening right now. Like literally, when you catch stuff on tape, that's why I was like, when I was listening to that thing this morning, when he was just sitting there talking about he doesn't care.
Joe, this administration always lies. He was proven to have lied 33,000 times during his first 4 years in office. He was a liar and a cheat before he became president.
Oh, that's cool.
Hi, Patty.
And thanks for the gifts. I appreciate it. I mean, that do you guys do you not see what he did with the Central Park fellas? Like what he still tried to do even after the fact? like they were proven to freaking innocent, and that fellow was still on, like, as the president literally said, they should be locked back up and all this other stuff. Come on, y'all. Stop that.
Iran saying that they're not negotiating with us like the president says is not scaring or putting any pressure on anybody. Again, you think that something's happening that's not happening. The only person that's been trying to put pressure is this administration, and they've delayed it 3 times because it's done nothing.
And to be fair, Bible study, like your thought process, isn't that the exact other reason why he would be, if you turn around and flip that on its head, isn't that the reason for him saying that it's going to end soon, everything's going to, the war's going to be done, everything's going to go back to normal? Isn't there a reason why he's doing that as well?
Again, he is no different than he was before he became president in 2016. This is who he was before. And I don't know why anyone thought that he ever told the truth. Heck, he came out and said, the way you interact with people is to never admit you are wrong, even when you are. He's destabilized the whole world. This is like someone telling me Joel Osteen is a good human. You know, I feel you, Jason.
Blue Dream, I get it, because he has destabilized them, and Mike, you and them, I think you guys are both right, because the parts that have been destabilized, the Middle East and Gaza and all that, they are like physically destabilized. Like they're going to have to completely restart all over, all their infrastructure, everything. And not only that, like I keep saying, like this stuff is going to have long-term mental health effects on all those folks. Like how, like, do people expect people to have things dropping out of the sky on them on a regular basis, and they're just going to turn around and, oh shit.
By the way, while she's probably dealing with a cat, if you're over here on TikTok, please, it helps push it out to more people. What?
Yes, one of the kittens ran out the back door, sorry.
What area is Iran stronger today? I don't understand that question.
Iran has been there for, I don't think people understand. Why do you think these countries, they're still standing after thousands of years? After thousands of years, these countries have been there. There's a reason why they're still there. We're a baby. We're 250 freaking years old. We've been here a few hundred years.
Not to mention, this administration is the reason, this president is the reason that is the one that tore up the nuclear deal, that he literally sent them basically another peace deal, which had a few changes, but it was pretty much the original nuclear deal that he tore up. He could have kept the original deal and try and push for something more, but no, he had to tear it up. Oh, we lost this war the second it started, Connor. The second we went in for no reason, no purpose, no anything, it was already lost. I mean, it was already lost because you're never going to win a war like we're fighting. You're never actually going to win it. This administration has made an entire country of people that hate us more than they already some of them probably already did. You have a question? Sure, what's up?
Everybody keeps saying there's a reason. Like this imminent threat shit. That's for one of the sticking points in the way my brain works. Is I'm like, how many people don't understand what the word imminent means? Decades and decades and decades of the same issue is not imminent. We only allow people up that are part of the community, Kimmy. If it won't fit here, we're also live on the tube. If you want to go over there, same name, same picture and everything. If you think it'll be filtered and you'll have more space and you don't have to worry about it being filtered over there.
Iran, the media is pushing for it. No, they're not. They didn't push for anything. They didn't start this. What planet are you living on? Supposedly, we obliterated their entire nuclear program in June. They are defending themselves, you idiot. You think this country wouldn't do the exact same thing if other countries did to us what we're doing to Iran? So when he went to Venezuela, they said he had a certain number of days before it was considered war. So there are certain rules that a president is officially supposed to follow. They can't. Way to completely miss the point of the entire statement, Joe. So there are specific rules about how, like, a president is allowed to go in under what they call, like, that's why they keep using the word like excursion. Officially, the president can't declare war, but they can go in on certain things, under certain things, and can go for a certain amount of time before getting congressional approval. Do I think the Dems will win the Senate? I think they have a better chance of winning the Senate now than they did a month ago. Have we passed that time? I don't know. I don't remember how many days it is off the top of my head, but I don't think so.
60?
It's either 60 or 90 days. I forget what it is.
Scott said it too, and I think he said 60, but I can't remember 100%.
But yes, again, Iran didn't start this. Iran didn't start. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, 60 days. Now he's a fortune teller. Who? Who's a fortune teller? Because right now I'm talking about the law. I don't know what you're talking about. And if you're talking about what I said about what this administration said, Mr. Feel It in his bones. Exactly.
You know, the other thing is this, you know, all the other countries that were, look at what has happened when countries from the West try to attack the countries in the Middle East. Do we win those wars? Absolutely not. What happens? A lot of people lose their lives. A lot of people get pissed off. A lot of stuff gets rebuilt, and then people go in there and they tear it all down again. That is not, there's like, again, like I said, thousands of years versus barely quarter of a century.
I mean, again,
and not only that, it's like after the fact, do people not think about the fact that the munitions that are being spent, how long it's going to take to replace them? We're talking, like, I was listening to somebody who works in defense. They're like 1 to 7 years to replace all the munitions and things that we're using.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if something was to happen? How are we I don't think people are thinking about there's a whole lot more going on.
Again, so you have to think a large chunk of Iran is the same as a large chunk of Afghanistan. Not even Russia could take Afghanistan. What makes anybody, we couldn't quote unquote fix Afghanistan or Iraq. What makes us think that we're going to be able to do it here? Every time this administration has been like, we have destroyed basically every capability, every offensive capability, and yet tankers still get hit. Infrastructure around the Middle East is still getting hit. They're still firing weapons and drones. It's all still happening. We all know this was going to take about 8 or 9 weeks. You know nothing. It's not going to be done in 8 or 9 weeks. It's not going to be done in 20 years.
Yeah. That and that's what happens when you think you're so big and bad and always right. But who? That's the thing that like here, like I said the other day, Americanacity. Who the fuck are we to get to go to these other countries who have been running just fine? They handle their own stuff, and think we just get to go in there and tell who the ruler's going to be, the leader's going to be, what rules and laws they have, who they're allowed to trade with, like.
Oh, Joseph, I am paying attention. He hasn't kept one promise. Not one. Literally not one promise has he kept. 0. They're literally not one. No, military does not support this operation. You want to know how I know that the military doesn't support this operation? They had to increase the age of recruitment to 42. No, overwhelmingly does not support it. They had to increase the age of recruitment to 42 and make it so if you, as long as you've only been convicted of one broccoli charge, they'll completely ignore it. They can't get people to join, so they have to get people whose backs and knees and ankles and everything else are failing to try to join.
To be fair, I will say this, and I know this may be a wild take to everybody. The only thing, this may be the only time you ever hear me agreeing with anything that they've ever done, is that the broccoli charge stuff. I totally agree with that. Like
Sure.
when I tell you that there's lots of substances that are partaken of that, let's just say, don't stay in your system as long, that when it comes to the sentencing and how you get charged for stuff, let's just say you could end up in prison for a lot longer than most people serve in the military, and they do it all the time and they get away with it. I do think for sure, I think I think that broad spectrum, I think the whole thing with broccoli, that they need to stop
Sure.
testing for that stuff
100%.
and all of that. That will probably be the only time
And
I may ever agree, but not for the reason they want to do it.
And Dawn, according to our director of national intelligence, Iran was not going right back to building anything. So you're the dumbass for believing the man that wouldn't know truth if it smacked him on the face. What's up, Scott? Scott, you want to come up? You got time to come up? I know you said you were working today.
Good morning, Bobby, Zoe, and everybody else that has joined.
Guys, please do this. It really does help. Beam Scott, yeah. Sure. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
up,
day
Scott?
finished early.
Heck yeah.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Kia, and thank you
Thank-
for the message.
Yes, thank you. Like we kind of just talked about it. If you wouldn't have came up, I was gonna ask Mike if I could actually read your reply because we just kind of breezed past it. But for some reason, I think one of the things for me that got me is because I know like our deficit and our spending and stuff has been wild, but I don't remember, and maybe it's been said before and I just wasn't paying attention. Hang on.
Well, by the way, while you're doing that with the dog, Greg has informed us that we are ignorant as he misspells ignorant. Thank you, Greg.
And use the wrong your.
Naomi, I just want to say quick, I don't think they're going to raise the age on the draft. I don't think there's going to be a draft. I don't. And again, could I be completely wrong? 100% could. But I don't think there's going to be one. I think you want to see an entire country stand up against it. Try and have a draft.
Look, our biggest problem is our defense industrial base. At the end of the Cold War in 1989, we removed 90% of our defense contractors and focused on the Big Ten. The problem with focusing on the Big Ten to produce our ordnance is that they move very slowly and they do way too much testing, way too much, everything pads the bill. It costs us millions of dollars to create a drone that Ukraine can create for thousands of dollars, literally thousands of dollars. And our drones aren't as good as theirs. And we don't have enough ordnance. We don't have enough 155 millimeter shells. For Christ's sake, how can you have artillery without 155 millimeter shells? We don't have enough interceptor missiles. We've already run out of those. And the Patriot missiles take, what is it, 3 years to create a Patriot missile? And we're producing 200 to 300 drones a year. Russia is producing 10,000 a month.
Oh, and I watched I think it was 60 Minutes about it. Our country, the United States, produces 1 tanker a year compared to China, which creates 1 tanker a week.
Yeah. In the Second World War, Willow Run, which was built by Henry Ford, produced bombers to fly over Germany. They produced a bomber. Now, the Germans would take about 6 months, 5 months to produce a bomber, which was normal for producing a massive aircraft. We produced a much bigger bomber in the B-17, and we created them 1 every 63 minutes. Every 63 minutes, start to finish. And we can't build enough ordnance for our fancy platforms. The issue is not that we need more F-35 fighters. We don't. We need what F-35 fighters shoot. That's what we need.
Yeah.
And because we have no anti-drone technology to speak of, we have to go hat in hand to Zelensky to beg him to help us. He has very generously agreed to help us as we stab him in the back and lift sanctions on Russian oil to give Vladimir Putin tens of billions of dollars to bomb more Iranian hospitals and schools. This entire situation is so ass backwards that even MAGA can see it.
And,
well, maybe not MAGA.
And Jason, yeah, we love Mr. Global here. We all watch his stuff.
Yeah, Jason, we didn't know that they had that. So you learn something new every day. The fog of war, that Clausewitz talked about, we're discovering that Iran has capabilities we didn't think they had, which is true in every war, which is why you plan wars before you start them, as
Yes.
opposed to getting lost halfway through a war and tell your allies who you didn't consult that you want them to help you, who you
Yes.
didn't consult at all before.
Yep.
Scott, it's that good old American acid. Telling you, when you think that you're the you think that you're the most wonderful, greatest thing since sliced bread, you don't think that anybody else has the capability to defend themselves or have things to be able to defend themselves that are better than what you have and that can work around. And the thing is for some reason, like you think it has to be like you were talking about these super expensive munitions and things like that. When you've got them over here making the same pretty much things for a fraction of the cost, they're making them much faster. It's just for some reason, I guess we still think it's almost like the American Revolution or something where we're trooping in with our muskets
Uh,
eye to eye.
Jason, so I mean, we sort of said it, but I want to put it out there again for anybody. We only bring up people that have been a part of this community for a bit. There are certain fundamentals that are necessary. There's certain ways we do things. We don't debate, we have conversations. There are fundamentals, i.e., all people, no matter your race, religion, gender, identity, deserve rights, respect, dignity, and safety. These are things we all agree on, and those are the only kinds of people that I will bring up. So please stick around. I go live in the morning 4 days a week. If you stick around, if you get involved, I'd love to have you up. Always want to have more people up to talk. It's just most people, once I tell them that I'm not going to bring them up on day one, they don't stick around. And that's their right. But the stuff we're talking about is not always easy. Like we're talking about this now, but we've had some really tough conversations, and we have to believe that the people that are up here believe the same thing we believe before we'll bring them up, at least in the sense of fundamentals. We all don't agree on everything. Let's put that out there. This is not a sounding board kind of a live.
You know, Kia, you're exactly right with what you were saying before. And frankly, in the American Revolution, we showed a lot more ingenuity than we're showing now. We keep building, and this is Congress's fault too, because congressmen demand the factories built in their districts. We keep building these fancy new platforms but we don't build the assets to put on the platforms. So what good is an F-35 fighter if you don't have enough ordnance? What good is putting a forward base in Saudi Arabia if we don't have the interceptor missiles to protect it? And what good is entering? I mean, have we learned nothing from the Ukraine war, which has shown that 21st century warfare is going to be completely different than 20th century warfare? And I'm not talking way back when. I'm talking back to Iraq and the first Gulf War. Warfare has changed immensely since then. When's the last time in Ukraine you saw the Abrams tanks that we gave them being used? They don't use them because they won't last 5 minutes out there. They'll get a drone swarm that will absolutely blow them up. And we have a lot of protection on our Abrams, but they weren't designed to withstand drone technology. We have an ally in Ukraine that can lead us, and they help themselves too. We could build massive factories here in the United States that could turn out drones like sausages. Ukraine gets their cut. We don't have to give them any money. They're earning the money. We don't have to give them a dime. They are allowed to build drones without the fear of Russian missiles landing on their factory. Build the factories here. Build the factories in Poland. Build the factories in Germany. Because I'll tell you where they're going to be building factories. The only win Ukraine got out of this war, since they're not going to be able to get any American ordnance because our ordnance is now all used up. Too bad for you, Taiwan. Oops. The only thing Ukraine's going to get out of this is they are going to get massive contracts from every Gulf state. The Gulf states have learned that the United States cannot protect them. We can't do it. We don't have the technology.
Did you see the clip of Trump trying to gloss over the the tens, if not hundreds of the hundreds of millions of dollars that were wasted or that were lost when the F-35s got taken out by allies. And he's like, and just being like, somehow they got out. It's like they knew the missiles were coming and they ejected and everything. Like, just completely glossed over the fact that that 3 F-35s or whatever are no longer
Are
here.
gone. Yeah.
And he's
are
just
gone.
like, oh, but they ejected. And it's like, dude, the gaslighting is just absolutely wild.
Well, we've been at war for, I believe tomorrow will be a month. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
So tomorrow is a month that we've been at war, and what we've spent already, we could have provided ACA subsidies for a full year on less than what we've spent here to achieve absolutely nothing. Because what are the only two strategic goals that would be worthwhile? Regime change and the possession of their enriched uranium. We aren't going to get either one of those. That's not happening. It's not on the table. So what do we get? We get Iran to say, okay, we won't block the Straits of Hormuz anymore. Well, that was the case before the war started. What the hell did we even start this war for? We got rid of a sickly 86-year-old Ayatollah and replaced him with a 56-year-old Ayatollah who's even crazier than he is.
And pissed off.
Yeah, and whose family we unalived. We unalived his wife. We unalived his father. We unalived his child. Yeah, he's going to be a great ally of the United States. The Persians have been around since 550 BC. That's 3,000 years ago. They have long memories, and they have a lot of patience. And revenge is a part of their culture.
I got two things to say. So I learned the other day, by complete accident, and I was like, damn, I feel old. They don't use BC and AD anymore. They use something else, and I can't remember what it is. And I was like, wait, when did that happen?
I'm almost 70 years old. I'm going to use BC and AD until the day I barely know how to use my phone. How am I ever going to figure out these new terminologies?
I was like, wait a minute.
I'm still trying to figure out what kids mean when something's on the down low. I don't even know what the hell they're talking about.
Oh, that's a whole, because it's not even adult. There's a whole different thing with adults on the down low too. We could talk about that at different times.
That one I think I can figure out for myself. But no, it's not down low. It's low key. Well, low key this and low key that. What the fuck are you talking about?
But the other thing is though, Scott, is that's exactly fucking it. Like, and my thing is when we're sitting here and we're like, yeah, rah, rah, we're winning and stuff. And I'm like, how would you guys feel? Like with the excuses, like, oh, we got to go over there because their leadership is a dictator. So does that mean when they say that, do they mean that that's open to the other countries to say what's happening here is that we're under a dictatorship and they should come and overthrow our country as well?
And
how would they feel
Yeah.
if it was their family that was unalived completely like that? Wouldn't they want to be? That's why I said we are creating enemies in more ways than just having big weapons.
Yeah. So there's two things that I want to say. That one, I said that, I feel like I said that earlier to another guy, and he's like, that will never happen. They can't reach this far. And it's like, way to completely miss the point of my statement. But even more than that, it's like, these people, there were people in Iran that were probably younger and weren't anti-American in the way a lot of these ultra-religious people in Iran were. If you think that what is going on right now has not changed the mind of some of them, a lot of them, who knows how many specifically?
Especially if we take out that energy infrastructure.
We
won't have too many friends left there, that's for sure.
Especially if we keep taking out schools.
Yeah, schools. Look, Iran doesn't have a missile that can reach the United States. Well, before last week, we thought they didn't have one that could reach Diego Garcia, except it did. 4,000 kilometers. That's not the point. Again, look at the Ukraine war. What was the greatest coup that Ukraine pulled off in this war? They loaded a bunch of drones into a semi-tractor trailer, drove it halfway across Russia, removed the roof, shot out the drones, and they blew up half of Russia's nuclear weapons delivery system, airborne nuclear delivery system, their airplanes. Now, the United States is a free travel country. What's to stop any terrorist group from getting an 18-wheeler, putting a bunch of drones in it, driving it to Kansas City, and taking the roof off and going to town? So to think that they can't reach us is to know nothing about sleeper cells and nothing about asymmetric warfare. They certainly can reach us, but just not in the traditional way.
Right.
They're not going to fly jets over Manhattan. That's not going to happen. But they don't have to do that. We have a free travel system. Russia doesn't. Russia has checkpoints everywhere, and the Ukrainians still pulled it off. What's to stop a terrorist group from not doing that in the United States? Nothing. Nothing.
Aaron, I'll be very interested to see what ends up happening in June with the World Cup, because I've already been seeing news that a lot of the places where they're supposed to be having matches are not being sold at all. Like, no one is getting tickets for the US. They're getting tickets in Canada and in Mexico, and no one's doing anything because no one wants to fly into the country for obvious reasons, and Americans don't have money.
I will say this.
Crazy says we aren't Russia. You're right, Crazy. We aren't Russia. Number one, Russia is a police state. We aren't. Secondly, you're right. We have so much better leadership in the United States. I mean, we have Kash Patel. We have Pete Hegseth. We have Tulsi Gabbard. We used to have Kristi Noem, but she got thrown under the bus. Yeah, that doesn't exactly inspire confidence. We've also gotten rid of most of our National Security Council. We've emptied the Counterterrorism Task Force in the Department of Justice and in the Department of Homeland Security. So, yeah, I'm not exactly overflowing with confidence in how safe we are.
And now I will say this, that for sure, like, people ain't coming here, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't come. It's not safe. They've been seeing what's happening. Why would they come? And good for them. Good for them for not coming. I just hate for all those businesses that were excited about the opportunity to not just and fuck the big companies. I'm talking about the smaller places in these areas, these mom and pop shops that would have a chance to get some of that money from all the people coming in. That sucks for them. It sucks for our economy, because at the end of the day, this is our economy affects us all, and that sucks. That part sucks. But I absolutely wouldn't buy a ticket to come here. It's almost like you're almost like poking the bear. Coming here to watch any of that stuff is definitely like poking the bear. And Rosa said something on the other side, and it's very, very much true, that we felt the ocean has given people a source of comfort.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that, like I said the other day, that we're not there. We're not having things falling out of the sky on our heads every day. We're not undergoing all of that stress and stuff. And I said exactly what Scott said, last week, something like that. I said it, is that when you're unaliving all these people, what do you think you're doing? And do you think that the people who loved and know these people only live in Iran, that they don't live here and across the world and other places as well? I think if you think that, you're really ignorant about how the world works.
And we sure seem to have forgotten the lessons of 9/11, haven't we? So, revenge begets revenge. It becomes a vicious cycle. It has always been thus. If you even have a cursory knowledge of world history, you know that. And we talk about how the United States has a great military. We do. We have the best military in the world. In fact, nobody's even in second place. We're that powerful. But winning tactical victories does not give us a strategic victory. I'll give you an example from history. On June 22nd, 1941, Adolf, we can't use the last name on this ridiculous app, Adolf invaded the Soviet Union. Within a few months, they could see the spires of the Kremlin. They captured over 4 million Russian soldiers. They wiped out the entirety of their pre-war Air Force and artillery, which were some of the best in the world, not Air Force, but their artillery was good. They were great tactical victories, but they had no strategic vision as to what they wanted to do. 4 years later, the red flag was being raised over the Reichstag. The Russians won the war. So tactical victories do not get you strategic victory. We not only don't have a strategic victory in Iran, we don't even have a plan for as to what strategic victory would even look like. We went to war with nebulous goals and no end game in sight. That is a foolish way for a democracy to go to war, because you lose the support of the people when you do that. When has the president gone before the American people and told them why we're in Iran? When has the American president gone before the people and said, these are our strategic goals? When has the American president gone before the people and said, this is our end game? He hasn't. And here we are.
And Rosa also made another comment, and that's the other thing tying into what Scott was saying and what we've been saying. You don't even have to have munitions. You don't have to pay multiple thousands or multiple millions of dollars for big things to go up in the sky and to do things like that. We have this thing called technology now. We have this amazing thing called the internet. And while it can be the most fantastic, useful, amazing tool in the world, it can also bring us down to our knees like that. And you don't have to. And again, when you have people here, you don't even have to be here. You could literally be anywhere in the world and attack our systems. And then what?
This administration doesn't know why they're there. So, yeah, no one knows why they're there. They don't even know why they're there. They've given 12 different reasons as to why they're there. That's the point. They've literally given conflicting reasons within not only the president himself, but the administration has given conflicting reasons to each other as to why we're there.
I was seeing that about they hacked and released Patel's emails, and I'm like, ooh, what's in there? It almost made me want to tap my fingertips together, like, ooh.
40 years of reasons, bullshit. That's bullshit. Especially considering we had a nuclear deal with them that this administration tore up.
Joe, 40 years of reasons may very well be sufficient for our ally, the I country. They have different goals and different aspirations in this war than we do, and we would be wise to remember that, but we're not remembering that. They have different goals, and they have different motivations. Iran has indeed been attacking the I country since their 1979 revolution. The I country has a lot more motivation to attack Iran than we do.
Now, that being said, there was no reason for this. And again, our own director of national intelligence said there was nothing showing that Iran was even attempting to do what this administration has said that they were doing. There was no threat. She literally said there was no threat in her opening statement to Congress. BS. She said it. The words came out of her mouth, Joe.
Joe, that's exactly what she stated. And by the way, that takes away any legal justification for the war. Under the Constitution, the president is allowed to respond to an imminent threat without going to Congress. He is not allowed to.
Nope, he got a call
Yep.
or something.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
He is not allowed to attack a country without going to Congress unless there is an imminent threat. So old Tulsi threw the president under the bus without realizing it.
Didn't the left call her who are you talking about? I fear I know who you're talking about, and it has nothing to do with our conversation, but I'm gonna let you answer. It's so sad that I've done this so much.
And by the way, let me go back to the I country for a minute. They have different goals and different aspirations in this war than the United States does. The United is not in the interest of a global power like the United States to have an Iran that is bifurcated and literally made up of warring tribes, which will be the net result of an all-out war. That will lead to increased terrorism. We have to understand that Bibi has different goals in this than we do. And I'm not defending what Bibi is doing because we were in the middle of negotiations with Iran. And it's now come out that, what a shock, Steve Witkoff misunderstood the Iranian negotiating position and said that they haven't moved when in fact they moved a lot on the issue of enriched uranium. Once again, just like he did to set up that Alaska summit with Vladimir Putin, he completely misunderstood what his interlocutor had told him, which happens when you have a shady New York real estate hustler with no diplomatic experience at all handling high-stakes diplomatic negotiations. Now, secondly, we were justifiably annoyed and enraged when Japan attacked us on December 7th, 1941, in the middle of negotiations. Well, quite frankly, what did we do any different than that here? We were in the middle of negotiations when we attacked.
And Scout. So I think everyone in this administration is incompetent. That means nothing. If the organization that's in charge of getting our intelligence and deciding and informing of what threats are out there is the one there, like, she's still the director of national intelligence. And supposedly they're making decisions on what to do based on what our intelligence agencies find out. So either you're saying our entire intelligence agencies, not just our director, are incompetent.
She also stated in her testimony that it was the president's job to divine intelligence. No, it's exactly your job to provide intelligence, because she knew she'd already thrown him under the bus, so she started hemming and hawing, and she just made a complete fool out of herself. Look for her to get thrown under the same Kristi Noem bus anytime, very, very, very soon. She's going to get bounced too.
No, Scout. I said, how can, in the same administration, one person who is supposedly competent, who was put in place by the President of the United States as being competent, say that there is no threat, and yet in that same administration, they say there is a threat? They are countering each other in the same administration.
But that's just like saying we can't say that we don't like the person who's the president and we think that they're incompetent and all of that. Like, but that doesn't mean all of the people are. We can say that Gabbard is incompetent and she doesn't know what she's doing. That doesn't mean that all the people that work for her that actually do all of those reports and do the intelligence gathering, that they're incompetent. It doesn't mean the same thing.
What excuse
go.
did I give?
Yes,
Scout?
Scout, which excuses
Oh,
are you
never
referring
mind.
to?
He's not. He can't talk anymore.
At this point, no, because I keep trying to engage them in the chat too. I feel like sometimes we give the people who don't even want to engage in the chat just too much energy, and just no. I
Yeah,
keep trying
bounce
to,
them, bounce them.
yeah.
They're not adding to the conversation because they don't wish to have a conversation.
Calling them incompetent? Are you calling each or are they calling each other incompetent? You know, at this point, it's probably all of the above. I'm calling all of them incompetent, but obviously they seem to think they're all incompetent within the administration as well, because they're not, because everything that, like, the person in charge of each different area of our government said different things about why we were going and whether or not there was an imminent threat.
Neil says in chat they fired the competent people. Exactly, Neil. Exactly. We fired the incompetent generals at the FBI. The Counterterrorism Task Force, which was the best in the world, has been denuded, and we have spread them out into ICE duties. Are you kidding me? We have nobody sitting at an Iran desk where we used to. The Department of Justice Anti-Terrorism Task Force has been broken up. They've been assigned to other duties. You know, I'm not saying that we are naked before the world, but we aren't as safe as we were a year ago. We're not, because we've removed the very people who were the most competent. And you saw what Pete Hegseth did with the top generals and admirals in the military. He got rid of them.
Yep.
They were the best we had, and he got rid of them.
And again, I just want to point out that instead of rebuilding, and again, not that I think we need to, but the reality is, instead of building up the people in our military with younger people, they can't. So they are adding older people into our military. Also, I want to point out, because I think it's the most ironic thing ever, this whole increasing the age of recruitment to 42 and allowing one broccoli conviction, quote unquote, to slide. The fact that it is going into place on 4/20 is hilarious.
And I think, and the other part, somebody else they got rid of, because they care so much about the trolling and stuff. But the folks who were in control of running, like the like looking for folks, like when they do on the federal type level, the people who were into like the children affiking with the T, they got rid of all of those folks.
Mhm.
So it's not just the military. There's so many levels. Like it's like you have to walk and chew gum at the same time to keep up with it. If you just get stuck, it's like people, some people are saying, well, we're not talking about the e-files. We need to be able to talk about more than one things, because it's not just the e-file. We do need to still keep talking about the e-files, but it's not just the e-files that need to be talked about. And that's the thing about it, because it's not like, yes, while this brought a huge amount of attention to it, this shit has been going on, and there's nothing it feels like there's nothing actively being done to stop this issue and this problem.
Hey, cat lady.
It's not just the folks that are in the e-files that are doing it. It's people who never had access to the kind of power and the money and that kind of circle that the people in the e-files are. It's all the other people too, and they got rid of all of those folks.
And
Joe says in chat, in yet another stunningly interesting comment,
I know.
You mean the woke generals?
Those, I just want to say, and
Joe,
then you can go. I just want to say this because I've had this in my head since the beginning. Those generals that left that you're calling woke have not only more experience, more brains, more capabilities in their pinky finger than you probably do in your entire body, Joe.
And Joe, look who's running our defense now. We have a president of the United States who's a 5-time draft dodger. You have a president of the United States who says the people who gave their lives for their country were suckers and losers. You have a Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. When he's sober, he was a part-time weekend news guy on Fox who's only headed 2 organizations in his life, one of 100 people, the second of 140 people, and he got fired from both of those jobs for gross incompetence. And you have the nerve to come in here and say that we fired woke generals? You couldn't even name a woke general, not one.
And Angela, broccoli is the devil's lettuce. Trying to think of what other names that we call it that won't, because we can't use the word.
Devil's lettuce. But broccoli is a good word.
The jazz
Broccoli.
cabbage, Mary Jane,
one's
wacky
too-
tobacco.
But the thing is, though, y'all, the MJ one is one that's known and put in there, so that is like associated with that word. So that word doesn't work well when you're
Okay.
trying to bypass AI. That because that's one of the words that's been known as for decades.
That's true. You're ex-military and you know more about this military's capabilities than Pete Hegseth. I'm not military at all, and I think there are times where I could say I know more about our military capabilities than Pete Hegseth. I don't really believe that, but some days watching him, I think that that's completely plausible.
Christ, woke generals. Define a woke general. Define it. Define what a woke general is. Woke generals. These dimwits don't even know what the word woke means.
No. The purple Urkel. I just think it's hilarious that I think that this is the best part. Like, you can tell we've gotten to a point where we're like, I'm not sure how much more we can talk about it, because we've like, we're just going to spend the whole time thinking how many different names for the devil's lettuce we can come up with that work. It's like the best part of the day. By the way, for everyone that's over here, just so you know, I go live on the tube 30 minutes beforehand. Also, I'm interviewing people that are running for office, that want change, that want to break the status quo, that are doing things the way we keep saying that we want them to be done. Please go over and watch them. Help them get visibility and name recognition. These people aren't taking PAC money, things like that. When did you all become the Gang of 8 part of it?
Okay, you want to try that one again, only this time in English? What are you even talking about?
That whole word is just so, the way they bastardize that word is just so disgusting. Like, it's like, wow.
Yeah, but you know what, Kia? It doesn't work anymore.
It's just,
Yeah,
oh.
the whole MAGA vibe has died anyway. I mean, it just doesn't work anymore. Oh, you're woke. Okay, people just shrug their shoulders. Yeah, I'm woke, but you're still dumb. You know.
So there's a reason. So I've said this before. In the end, I will interview anyone that aligns with my fundamentals. If I believe that you don't align with my fundamentals, I will not give you space in my platform. That is a hard line.
Definitely. So while we got this, because I need to get ready to go do my live, but I won't do the whole commercial thing, but definitely check us out on the tube. Like we're live there right now. We start there 30 minutes early before the TikTok and all the shit comes in with it. Definitely come and hang out with us. You can have longer conversations. You don't have to worry about the filtering as much like it is here. Um, so definitely make sure you come check us out. Like right now, like I literally have my iPad and my phone. Like I'm here on my phone. I've got my iPad open over there. So definitely make sure you guys come check us out and please watch those videos. Like it is very helpful. If we want change, we keep bitching about change. We got to vote for change. You can't just wait until election day and show up and just pick the people that other people.
Yes, same name, Kimmy.
Sorry, if you want change, you have to actively vote for it. If that's it, you have to. You have to get out there. You have to participate in all these special elections and all these runoffs and all these other things. Get out there and pay attention. We just literally, in which I still think Cooper is going to win in North Carolina, but the fella that has been in like the head of a super majority of the GOP in North Carolina was unseated by 24 votes, y'all. 24. That's not, there's more than that in here. It's 4 times as many. Every single vote counts. Your vote is important. It is your right to vote. Please make sure you get out there and vote.
Dre Muller, I know you're a fan of Vance Rubio in 2028. Who's going to protect the White House furniture? What are we going to do? Would we have to put plastic slipcovers over the couches? Just wondering. Because there's a lot of historic furniture in the White House, and I want to make sure it's protected.
And Lanya, yes, vote. Because no matter what anyone says, you don't want the other stuff. And anyone that says you'd rather have there being anarchy, you obviously have no clue what you're talking about. Now, again, does that mean that there will never come a time where that is the only option? Of course not. But we are definitely not there yet. And anyone thinks that we have and we've tried literally doesn't understand history and hasn't been paying attention to history at all. We haven't tried.
James brings up in chat, what about the seat in Mar-a-Lago? Yeah, that was something, James. And in fact, there were 2 seats that flipped in Florida that went by double digits to Mr. Trump just a year and 3 months ago. That was interesting. What's even more interesting about it is that in both elections, more registered Republicans voted than Democrats, which means that registered Republicans went into that voting booth and voted Democrat.
Why do you think billions wouldn't suffer if we stopped voting and got rid of everything and quote unquote went into anarchy? More would suffer, not less.
If you want to see how anarchy works out, study the French Revolution in 1789 or the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917. Didn't work out very well for either of those countries.
Again, I think this idea of comfort, I agree with you. I think people need to accept the fact that they need to step up, step out, and be uncomfortable. But you're using a lot of words, Lanya. And I feel like you just read them all somewhere and now you're just spewing them back out because I don't think you know what you're actually saying. I'm sorry. Based on everything you've said so far, projection, okay. You are allowed to think that. I speak on this daily. I'm sure you do.
You're making comments that don't, there's no context. There's no meat to it. You're just saying words, but you're not putting them together. Like, put together the whole thought. Don't forget, if you do this every day, then you knew that the person that's the host or the people sitting on the box or the other people in the chat only see the words that actually pop up on the screen.
You're making statements that you think are arguments, but all they are words that have no meaning. The host gets exactly what I'm saying. It makes me it doesn't make me uncomfortable at all. You obviously have not been here very long.
Not at all.
I am more than willing to sit in an uncomfortable conversation. That is what this podcast is all about. If you think what you're saying is making me uncomfortable, you don't know what you're saying.
All right. While we're waiting for the next pearl of wisdom from Lana, folks, up in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you will see a little orange heart. Please tap that heart. Down will drop a big old rectangular box. On the right-hand side of that box, there will be 6 small boxes. Some will be empty. You don't have to worry about those. Some, however, will be shaded in black. Please tap on those boxes. That way, your content creator and host, Mike, gets points. But you know what I'm going to say next. You get the same amount of points he does. And folks, the important thing here, we don't know what's going to happen to this app. It is incumbent, if you like this community, if you enjoy this content, it is incumbent upon you to get used to the tube and start watching things over there. Maybe pick a day in the week and go over there. Number one, there's some advantages to you. The graphics are a hell of a lot better over there. Secondly, you can speak like a real human being. You don't have to say pew pew. You don't have to say unalive. You can use the real words. You don't have to say Adolf. You can use his last name. You can speak like an adult over there. And also, you'll enjoy the long-form content that Mike has put up over there. If you haven't watched any of it yet, that's fine. Pick out one, just one. Watch it. I think you'll find it interesting. But either way, we don't know what the future of this app is, so it's incumbent upon all of us to start to get used to the tube.
Look, I've made tons of videos about how we need to have hard conversations, and the only way we're actually going to fix anything is by continuing to have hard conversations. But understand, you have to be willing to have a hard conversation in order to be a part of the conversation. And you have to be willing to be wrong. Because trust me, I'm wrong a lot. I know it. That is the most important part about what we're doing, is admitting you don't know everything, admitting you could be wrong, and be willing to sit in that feeling. That's just a reality. Guys, there are going to be some amazing things coming up that are going to be really cool. Like I said, I've been interviewing like 100. I've got only one interview today, which is good because I've got flooring getting delivered and stuff like that. So it's going to be a little bit busy, but I'm also working on putting together things like some different panels from some of the people that are running. So we've got a lot of people with some like foreign policy, national security experience, and I'm going to bring them all together, and we're going to have a very deep, more in-depth conversation about national security and foreign policy. And I'm going to be doing it with a bunch of different other things, not just that. And that's kind of some of the things that are coming in the future. But please go over and follow and subscribe over there and watch and share. If we want these people to win, they need to get views, they need to get name recognition, they need to get visibility. The best way to get that, the best way to increase the chance that someone in their district, in their state, will see who they are and learn about them, is if their videos do well enough that the algorithm gets pushed out to more people. Obviously, we're still early for general election, but we've got many. May is going to be big on primaries. There's a lot of primaries in May. So I know it's hard. I know it's exhausting sometimes, but we've got to do the work. And again, don't listen to someone who says that voting doesn't matter. If voting didn't matter, this administration the GOP would not be doing so much work to try and make it impossible for us to vote, or make it difficult, or make people not want to vote.
Didn't you say something about the schedule change next week or something?
Yes. So Monday, I don't know. I know there won't be a morning live on Monday. So that's the big change. There will definitely not be a morning live. Depending on how the day goes, I may end up doing an evening live instead, because I don't want to just go 3 days without a live unless I have to. But we're going to be working on flooring. I just don't know when we're going to be done, so I can't sit here and say I'm definitely going live. But the rest of the week should be the same. So Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning. If something changes, like if we get too far behind, Wednesday might change. But the only one I know is Monday morning will not happen, because I will be installing, well, I'll be ripping out carpet, but then I'll be installing floors. How do you check if your district has a primary? Well, every state will have a primary for the midterms. What state are you in, Phantom? I may know off the top of my head, but if you look up your state election board, it will tell you what it is. Kentucky, you guys are coming up. You guys are May 5th? No, Kentucky's not May 5th. I think Kentucky's May 19th, I think. You guys are somewhere in the middle of May. But it's Googleable, for sure. Yeah,
And Phantom, you
saw
should
that.
receive something in the mail from, a sample ballot that will come a couple of weeks before the primary.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the gifts, the subs. Again, my ability to keep doing this is thanks to all the support that you guys give me. And it means more than you possibly can know. Scott, Kia, always love having you up. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Go out, do something fun, get some laughs in, because we're going to be coming back next week and doing it all over again. So keep that mental health as strong as you can, and we'll come back and keep fighting the fight and keep watching the videos. You guys are amazing just the way you are, and I love you all very much. Stay safe, stay healthy. Remember to sing, laugh, dance, smile. Do something that makes you happy. Bye, guys.